today I'm going to be trying some of the best controller players settings in Fortnite. These controller players include the famous FaZe Sway, we're going to be trying LetShe's, we're going to be trying Reet's, and who knows, if we're having enough fun we might go for some more. And as always, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. We are almost at 20k, it'd be greatly appreciated. So without further ado, let's get into this. Alright, so in every sort of experiment, it's smart to have a control because the control provides as a basis to compare to. So the control of this video is going to be my current skill. I'm not too bad at Fortnite. I can build and edit a bit and whatever. And here's a couple clips of me actually playing in just creative. I have about 30 ping. The current settings that I'm using in these clips, I've been using for probably almost 2 years at this point. I very rarely change my settings or change my binds. I pretty much just keep everything the same, with the exception of switching to this 4-paddle strike pack about 3 weeks ago. So now that you guys know how good I actually am, let's go and change some settings. First of all, we're going to be using FaZe Sway settings. Now, if you didn't know, FaZe Sway plays claw, and as you guys just saw, I'm actually using paddles, so I don't know how well his settings are going to translate, but since we're not doing binds and we're just specifically doing settings, I think it's going to work out fine, so let's change these. Alright, so these are what his settings look like. He has build mode at 2.3, edit mode at 2.4. Those are quite a bit higher than what I had. Then for look horizontal and look vertical, he has 47%. My main sensitivity is actually really close to these, so that shouldn't be too much different. And something interesting that I noticed is on all of these boosts or the dampening times, he turned it all the way to 0. My settings before, I had all these at the default green line, so I'm really curious to see how this feels with everything all the way down at 0% or 0 seconds. For his ADS sensitivity is 23% for both horizontal and vertical. This is again pretty close to what I was on. Then Sway does still play linear. His dead zones are 5% on either. I was at 8% on either, so again pretty close. And that's all of his settings that I'm copying. First impression, just pulling out my builds, it feels really quick, I'm gonna be honest. The build and edit sensitivity is the one that went up the most for me, so this is pretty interesting. As you can see, I'm pretty sloppy with it. This is actually really interesting because when you watch Sway play, all of his movement looks so precise and smooth, and for me, these settings do not look precise and smooth whatsoever. It's actually pretty crazy that he's able to control this sensitivity as well as he can. When we're not building and we're just aiming, it actually feels really good. It's a little bit slower, but it feels like you'd be able to hit a lot of shots, and that's what he does. He hits a lot of heavy hitting pump shots. But I don't want to only sit here and free build, so we need to go and play some actual creative matchmaking. Alright, that wasn't too bad. I missed. Alright, it might have taken me a couple rounds to get used to. I am getting okay with them, but I'm starting to like them a little more. They're alright. AR spray aim is good with FaZe Sway settings. Who would have guessed that? Alright, well, my FaZe Sway settings conclusion is that the building and editing aspect is pretty quick. I maybe could get used to this, but it's gonna take a lot more than 20 or 30 minutes. I'm thinking maybe you have a little more control of your thumbsticks with claw. When I put on a claw grip, it kind of feels like it. So maybe with that, you're able to better control a faster sensitivity. But I guess that is what FaZe Sway is known for, so maybe he just makes it work. Now, we tried FaZe Sway settings, and he's more of the flashy, fast edits, cool builds kind of player. Now we're gonna transition into a competitive player settings. We're gonna be trying LetShe settings. All right, so from what I could find, These are LetShe's latest settings. His build in edit mode is slower than Sway's, but faster than mine. His look horizontal and look vertical are pretty similar to both mine and Sway's, right around that 40 to 50 range. However, his ADS horizontal and ADS vertical are only 12%. That's really low compared to mine and Sway's. And from my knowledge, he is on linear. And for dead zone, I couldn't find it, so I'm just staying with what Sway had, 5%. Once again, let's get some first opinions. Okay, this going from like 2.5 down to 2.0 feels a lot more manageable. Oh yeah, this feels way better than what Sway's is. Still feels a little faster than mine, but it's not so fast to the point where it looks sloppy. It still looks pretty good, still feels pretty good, so let's go see what we can do in some 2v2s. This look in ADS sensitivity is definitely really slow. I literally went polar opposites. Sway's building was super fast, and now LetShe's aiming is super slow. Okay, we got that win. Let's go. These settings are definitely something I could get used to. The aim settings are definitely on the slower side, but I'm not mad about that. Dude, I'm absolutely loving these settings. The only thing that's really slow is like when you're ADS in a sniper scope. You can barely move up. It's actually super slow. Otherwise, it's not bad. Bro, I will boom battle you all day on this sensitivity. You can't boom battle me on this sensitivity. I don't even think any discussion needs to be had. You guys should be using this sensitivity. Oh my god, it's actually nuts. I'm almost positive LetShe actually uses claw, so the fact that these settings work so well on paddles as well is pretty awesome. However, I did say that I'd try out Reet settings, so here are Reet settings. He uses 1.6 build, uses 50, 60. These four settings are actually really similar to what I typically use. His ADS sense is just a little faster than LetShe's. However, the biggest change that Reet uses that FaZe Sway and LetShe don't use is Reet actually uses exponential. Reet doesn't use linear. And exponential is something that I've never consistently played on. I know that building on exponential is pretty weird, and indeed it is. It just feels really choppy. However, I know that people claim to have way better aim on exponential, so let's go and try that out. And I don't think that they're lying. My aim was pretty good right there, especially I literally just switched over to exponential. Wow, It's pretty easy to hit one pumps with this, I'm not gonna lie. That was pretty crazy. Hey, pull flash. Well, even on the maybe worst settings of this video, actually, I wouldn't say worst. I'd say those are second best. Honestly, in my opinion, FaZe Sway settings were the worst. Maybe his are just the ones that take longest to learn, but for me, that was not the move. The builds were way too fast, way out of control, and the aim sensitivity couldn't even make up for it. I'm thinking I might actually continue to use LetShe's. Let me know if you think that's a good idea. Thanks for making it here to the end. I appreciate you guys. Hope to see you in another video.